Welcome to Moonlight Madness, and today this evening, this sign of fire, sun, moon, and rising as a collective. Now, the decks I'm using, one of them is this really old and decrepit, but I've loved it since 2014, is the Fairy Tarot cards by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine, illustrations by Howard David Johnson, and I'm working with Rebecca Campbell Work Your Light Oracle cards that I was gifted by a recovery group from domestic violence that I needed to do because of my past. So that was lovely because I did a lot of readings to a lot of people there for free. And one of them decided to buy a deck for me to say thank you. Now, what I've gotten so far, you'll come up as yourself, Princess of Spring. You're the life of the party. You're the fun person that everyone wants to invite to their parties. You're a party person, party girl, party boy, whichever gender fits. You love to sing, dance, act. You do all of it. Singing, dancing, acting. You could have all of those caps that you wear. And you're fun, you're creative, you're energetic, you're enthusiastic. And it's saying that it's time to focus on your dreams and allow your creativity to take flight. You may have your own YouTube channel as well. It's also saying that you need to go and do something creative, whether that is art, drawing, journaling, or doing makeup or hairdressing, or somewhere where you can express your creativity. And what's crossing you is the Ace of Wands, which is the first card of the deck in the wand energy, which is the Sagittarian, Aries, and Leo energy. It is time to take action. Be fearless and happily pursue your most treasured dreams, amazing career opportunities. You may be given a job offer that you have to take. It's coming up now, saying it's like Ace of Spring for me. I'm going to get my little thing. We're also doing this on a full moon, I might add. In the next day, you may get a call for a job interview, which will change your entire perspective in your life, and I hope that happens. I know I'm currently looking for work, so that would be really good. There's also someone around you who's got a real thing for you. Like, you're highly attractive to this person. You may have talked to them online. They may have seen your profile. They may have tried to hit you up on your Facebook profile because of the pictures you shared with them, or you were just talking to them on social media. But they find you highly attractive, and they're very attracted to your body. Doesn't matter what shape it is. It could be an hourglass figure like Marilyn Monroe's, but whatever it is that you're putting out there, they are extremely turned on by. You are very extremely sexual. You come across as very sexual, and you may not even know you do this. This is just part of your personality. Maybe you just exude this confidence. This confidence is very attractive to a male. You may have this sexual energy that you don't even know that you give off. It wafts off you. You go into a room and 1,000 people turn their heads to look at you because you have this confidence that men are attracted to confidence. This is what I've found. I've got 2 boys, I can honestly say. If a female is confident in herself, men will flock to the women, that woman, like bees to honey. Vice versa. If a male is attractive and is confident and feels good about themselves, they'll attract men to themselves like bees to honey. So this is what you do. In the recent past, you've got the 3 of Cups, which is partying. You may have been part of a threesome. You may have been part of a third party situation that you didn't even know you were involved with. So maybe you lived in a house that was a shared house, and the person that you were interested in, and he was interested or she was interested in you, never spoke about the fact that they had a girlfriend. I've actually been in that position. I lived in a share house with 7 people. 7 men to 2 women. I did not know what I signed up for. One of them looked extremely like Robert Pattinson. The first thing he said to me, because I'm guessing he was in a relationship, Suki Waterhouse, I can't give you what you want. I know what you want and I can't give it to you right now. And I looked at him and went, really? He must have been attracted to me but didn't want me to know that because he wanted me to know that he was involved with someone else. I can't give you what you need or want because I'm taken. He didn't say that. I can't give you what you want. I know what you want and I can't give it to you. So I was like, okay, fine. So I just didn't interact with him. I just completely ignored him, pretended he wasn't there, He was arrogant. He's such an arrogant fool. I'm like, I'm a parent of two grown boys the same age as you, and you're acting like this arrogant little so-and-so, and you don't even get licensed to do that in a shared house. Who the hell do you think you are? So I tried to take him down a peg or two. He didn't like it much. I called him out on his bullshit. I'm a parent, and I see through people's crap, and I called him out on his bullshit. He was used to star treatment. I didn't give him any of that. I just treated him like a flatmate, and he was a bad flatmate, and he was on something all the time, and he was writing stuff on the ceilings because he was on something. I just thought less of him because he tried to come across as this actor, this famous person I was supposed to bow down to, and I went, you know what? I don't like your attitude. In the recent past, this is the High Priestess. This is you. You may have recently discovered that you've got psychic abilities from a previous near-death experience like I did. I had a near-death experience. I died a couple of times. I've come back with these abilities. They're God-given. They're not mine. I'm borrowing them. And so I foresee the future events, and I see long beyond this time, space, and time continuum. I've seen the world come to an end. This was back in 2018. I was lying on my mother's blow-up bed, and I saw Wuhan. I saw COVID and Wuhan, and everyone's shooting everyone, which is what actually went down apparently when they first had the breakout of the COVID situation. They had to kill off a lot of scientists because they were infected with the COVID virus. And apparently it's not the first time this has happened, it's the second time. How can we have two pandemics coming out of the same place twice in the space of a century? I don't understand how misery attracts company twice in a century. It was called the Spanish flu back then. There was a war between the Philippines and America. There was a civil war. And they had the pandemic break out in Wuhan. And it happened again a century later in the same spot. Look, I can understand, you build a petrol station and then you shut it down and no one can build there for 7 years because the poison has seeped into the soil. So it's infectious and it's toxic. I believe, my opinion, is that what happened back in 100 years ago was still actually in the ground, and that's how the scientists contracted COVID. This is what I believe. I'm not a scientist. I don't know how these things work, but I do know that transference of a viral thing can be in the soil where people died in that same spot with COVID back in a century ago. And these people were still infected. So when I was on my mother's lounge room floor having this vision, because I died a couple of times and I was on meds that didn't agree with me, I can't do antidepressant meds, I'd had wine that night, back in the 18th century, the first bout of COVID with these children with baseball bats trying to fight off the Americans that were trying to attack them because they were from the Philippines. They had no weapons. They were children. They were like 8-year-old down to 4-year-old trying to defend themselves from these Americans that had these war weapons trying to defend themselves. And I saw and I heard all of it. And I woke up in the middle of the night, like 3 in the morning, and went, stop, Mum, the missiles, oh my God, these people are dying, how do we stop it? She thought I was crazy. She stuck me in a psych ward. Turns out I was correct. That actually went down. I was having a past vision. We had gone to visit the Newcastle Museum, which we've got in Newcastle, and I touched the helmet of my great-grandfather, who was an engineer, which would have gone through World War II. I touched his helmet, and I think that's how I picked up the energy of what went down back then, because he was possibly a part of that, because of we've got a long history of military in my family, which is Hardymans, and we're the founding fathers of Newcastle. And I touched that helmet at the War Museum. It's like a war museum. I touched the helmet that he had that went down into the thing back in the 1930s or whatever. I was transported to 1800s from touching the headstone up at the tabernacle in Newcastle. That's my great grandfather, Henry Hardyman, was the deacon of the church. I believe I somehow attracted, I feel terrible to say this, I somehow attracted what happened back a century ago to this time frame, because I touched the stone that they laid, the founding father's stone, which was Sarah Hardyman, put the headstone, contributed to the first tabernacle in Newcastle, because we were appointed by Queen Elizabeth II from her virtue. He was ordained. He had to move from Cessnock in a horse and carriage. Back in the 1800s, he would have been a horse and carriage with his entire family. He moved to Railway Street in Newcastle. And so what I believe is I somehow attracted the same crap that happened to us a century ago, into this century, because I'm a psychic medium, and I when I touch things, I can pick up stuff. If you've ever seen a series called A Discovery of Witches with Teresa Palmer, who's an Australian, Matthew Good, who talks about how she has got these abilities she doesn't even know she has, and she's awakened by them by touching this certain book that she can summon with her magical abilities that she's never used before, because she never wanted to go down that way because her parents were murdered for having these psychic abilities. So they tried to protect her with a spell, spellbound, they call it spellbinding, so that her powers wouldn't come out until she was a certain age, because they wanted to protect her from the covenant, which was the witch covenant. And so they covered her in spider webs, like they did a spell on her to protect and suppress her magic, because she was so powerful that they knew that she would also attract evil people that were scared of her abilities and wanting to kill her because they didn't understand it, and to protect her from dying like they got killed in a visit to a pilgrim in a place where they discovered that they were witches, and they stoned them to death and killed her parents. So they were trying to protect their child from the same violent death. And she didn't even know she had these abilities until it started coming out in her. She started dropping papers. She was writing a paper. She was an art historian. She was writing papers, and she dropped them on the floor, and she was like, oh my God, I need those papers, I have to put them in. So she went to go pick them up, put her hands in front of herself, and managed to pull all of the papers together into her hand. And that's when she knew she had these powers that she didn't know she possessed. This is how I feel. I feel like I've been spellbound for 50 years. 45 years, because this happened 5 years ago when I died a couple of times and came back. And I'm now different, and I see, sense, hear, feel clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience. I sense, I feel, I can hear everything that is coming for everyone and everything. And they've given me this gift from God, I believe. It's not mine. It's because I passed over. I almost died a couple of times. So now I get to share it with the world. And I talk about this to my psychologist, who's on board with me. She didn't believe me at first. She thought I was, crazy, as you would. She was appointed to me. She's been with me since 2016. But I can talk about these things with her that I can't talk about with anyone else, because I don't know anyone else that is that psychic like I am. I'm that psychic. And so I tell her my fears, because I can't switch it off, and it's constant now. Since I died a couple of times, it's now on 24/7. I have to put sunglasses on in order to not see future events for people, places and things. I don't want to see future events. I don't want to pay attention to that. I know it's not here. It's like 2 to 3 years out. I'm usually 2 to 3 years out. Sometimes I'm 20 years out. So I now put my dark sunglasses on so I don't have to see the visions I get for people that I come in contact with. And that's how I cope with it. I've got nowhere to switch it off. When I'm asleep, I'm getting future visions. I'm astral traveling back in time and forward in time. I don't live in the now. I live in the future and the past. From touching something like my grandmother's ring, I had a vision of her 2 nights ago. It was a past vision, because the ring's attached to her. She must have worn it when I was 21 and she was 61 and I was doing hairdressing. And I had a past vision of her, and I was playing with her hair and I was cutting it, and she loved me playing with her hair because that used to help relax her. And then I used to practice on her. I was so proud to be doing hairdressing and showing her what I could do. And I said, Nana, you've got such beautiful, thick hair. She always had beautiful hair. She passed away in January, so that was a past memory because I touched the ring. And I woke up and she was gone, and I cried. I cried to my psychologist today. It was bittersweet because I got to see her in my sleep, because they can come down in your sleep when you're like this, when you're like me, when you're that psychic, and you touch a personal object, you can. It's like a time travel machine. That ring time travels me back to when I was really happy, when I was doing hairdressing and I was cutting her hair. She always wanted to do floristry. She was always very, very creative. She was a great cook. She was brilliant. Very smart lady. She knew every single flower plant that's on the planet, which is why I wanted to be a beauty therapist. She wanted me to be a pharmacist. But I didn't want that. I wanted to do the natural therapies path, which is beauty therapy. Because I love plants and I love flowers and I believe in flower magic and plant extract. She made up a mixture to help my auntie who had grade 5 cystic acne. You know, that's like dermatologist level. Because she was poor, couldn't afford to get a dermatologist to look at my auntie's skin, which was cystic acne. She made up a salve. I don't know how she did it. I'm guessing she went to see a librarian and figured it out by borrowing a book and then made it up herself. She was extremely beyond her time. I would call her and my grandfather a savant, an extremely extraordinary human being that can just do anything. My grandfather could pick up any instrument and play it, self-taught. Never ever had music lessons. Again, my grandmother, self-taught with cooking, making up a salve to treat cystic acne, botanical expert. I got all these abilities from my grandparents. I'm extremely fortunate. There's a lot of savants that are male, but not many female savants. I had 2 savants, extremely intelligent people. That would be my grandfather and my grandmother. So that's why our whole family is very, very intelligent. Marnie Linda started reading the paper at the age of 3. Yeah, she's beyond me. But yeah, I just want to put it out there that there is these people that can see the future. In the movie A Discovery of Witches, she gets this book out that she's drawn to because she's psychic. She's discovered her psychic abilities. Pulls this book that's not been found for over 3 centuries, like 3,000 years. They couldn't find this book, but she pulled it out because she was magically, psychically drawn to it. And she gets into it and finds that when she touches the pages, she absorbs all the information into her skin, into her being. She absorbs the whole book, removes the whole book's entry levels into her body, and she becomes the living embodiment of the book. And the book talks about demons and witches and goblins and people that are different, that still walk the earth and don't get along. And so she has to be the one to bring them all together, because they both have opposing viewpoints on how they should, interact, because they both don't like each other. So the witches hate the vampires, and the vampires hate the witches, and then you've got the demons, and then, so she has to be the guiding force because she's absorbed the book. She is the book, the tree of life, and they have to somehow manage to get along. I wish that was as simple as that in our world, with all this fighting and carrying on. We could easily stop this if we all chose to look at each other in different perspectives and allowed everyone to just be themselves and be respectful of everyone who wants to contribute, whether it's from Iran or Iraq or Israel or America or Australia. If we all took everyone's ideas into consideration, we could end this war. This war would not happen. I'm trying to prevent. I've seen the war. There is nothing left. The hounds of hell are howling, and the only thing that's living on the planet is Air Force One. Yeah, SUVs that are running around the streets to find signs of life. I've already spoken to the Prince of Dubois, Fassi. I can't remember his first name, but he's a famous. Yeah, he's the prince. He's the Prince of Dubois, and I spoke about this to him. I said, what do we do here? I'm telling you, if this does not, if you can't settle this down, it's going to escalate and there'll be nothing left. I'm telling you what I've seen, and I'm putting it in your hands. So we talk all the time because I feel that if I can tell him what's going to happen, and he's part of a way to stop this Gaza attacks because he's over in that part of the world. Perhaps if I tell him the reality of what's going to happen if it keeps going, then maybe he can stop it at the level I can't stop it at. So you've got life experience, you've got, this is an Aquarian energy, this is a Tower moment. Something must have happened recently that shook your belief system. You know, it's like a move, it's like an accident, it's like a road accident. It's something. Oh, it could also be, globally, it could be like a tsunami, a hurricane, a freak of nature, right? So recently in America, my brother is over there right now, I'm really worried about him. There was a cyclone, Helena. They played it down because they didn't want to scare off the tourists, but apparently it devastated part of the east coast of America, and the fallout was bad, and so this is why they're having troubles flying people back out of there because of the cyclone. And it's Cyclone Helene, and it was a big deal. Apparently I've been watching YouTube channels of other psychic mediums that live in America or live in Hawaii, and they said they tried to play it down because they didn't want to stop tourism. So now my brother has to wait till, he should have come out today, but because of Cyclone Helena, they were trying to stop planes flying because they were scared of what would go down with the whole situation of Cyclone Helena, which would upset the Earth's, you know, free fall, possibly could interfere with plane flights and the whole thing. So there's my brother, he's coming up in his own reading, Sagittarian, Aries and Leo. He's a Prince of Spring, he's younger than you, that's my brother. He's charming, he's self-confident, he's passionate, he's restless. He's immediate action, he's a challenge he can successfully manage, and a passionate. He's one of those people that has to be busy. He's a busy bee. And he likes to be on the go. He loves his job because he gets to do it. He's got his own job, his own business, and then he's got his own work he does as well. So he's always busy. He likes to do day trips. He likes to go for long drives. My brother likes the big outdoors. You know, his idea of a road trip would help calm his farm because he gets to go on a vision quest, and that's what fire signs need, is to go out of their comfort zone, go for long drives, go out on, you know, in the middle of nowhere where he went to Disneyland, and then he went to parts of Florida, which is the Midwest. So he's gone and done his vision quest, and that's what he needed to do because that helps him re-energize, recalibrate. So when he goes back to work, he's gotten rid of all that energy because he's got a lot of energy. So then we've got Six of Wands. This is coming up for you. This is so that's who's around you. That's your brother. Hopes and fears is a tick-a-tack parade. You've come through something amazing. Maybe you had to go through something that shook up your entire family unit, and it wasn't something expected, but it's saying this is like Andrew Johns' tick-a-tack parade back in 1997 when we got the World Cup. We won it. I think it was against the Sydney team. Andrew Johns, Matthew Johns, were on a tick-a-tack parade through Newcastle, through Hunter Street, because they won the cup, because it was not expected that we were going to win. We were against a really big team that was not, that was quite hard to beat, but we beat them, and it put Newcastle on the map. And I was so proud of Andrew Johns and Matthew Johns that day. I actually got an autograph for my brother. I think it was on a hat, something, a shirt. I went in there and I got his autograph, and he was, he's young, he's arrogant. And he said to me, "What do you think of me?" I was arrogant too. I was a very arrogant girl back then as I was young. I said, "Not a lot." He didn't know what to do with that because he's so used to everyone fawning over him and, thinking, "Oh, you're amazing, you're Andrew Johns," and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, "Oh, yeah, you're just another tosser that thinks you're better than everyone else because you're in football." I only did it for my brother. I would never have bothered to go up and get a signature because I just thought he was arrogant. I didn't like his arrogance. I thought, you're from Newcastle. You don't get to be arrogant. We're the poor man's Orange of Sydney. So I probably floored him with my reaction, but I had a huge attitude as a younger person. I still have a huge attitude. Because when I know I'm right, and I don't care if you're the King of England or the Queen of Spain. If you're arrogant and disrespectful to people, I'm not going to respect you. I respect people that actually care about others. And what you do as a person, I respect. But just because you're a celebrity doesn't mean I have to kiss your ass, kiss your toes, whatever. I recently turned down someone that's quite famous. We were chatting online. He's an actor. And I told him I didn't want to deal with him anymore. I didn't like his attitude. Because he thought he was better than me. Yeah, I'm a psychic medium. I have my own following. I've got 43,000 followers. I don't need your celebrity. I am all celebrity. I don't want you to take pity on me. I don't even care if you think less of me, whatever. I'm not someone you get to intimidate because I already have a following. Yeah, you have a fan club. Great. You've got your online presence. Great. But I have people following and stalking me too because of what I do. Because I saw COVID before it happened. I have the same celebrity, probably better than you. I don't need you for anything. He got possibly offended. And I went, good. Your arrogance needs to be taken down a couple of pegs. And that's what I said to him. And we're not talking anymore, and that's fine. Because he had a huge ego. Now I've picked up Capricorn energy. Ego. The illusion of being trapped, placing too much importance on material items and getting caught up in fear and worry. Okay, so I'm guessing this is my problem. I've got a Sagittarian moon and a Leo placement. I don't have an ego. I'm scared of people trying to harm me because of what I know, what I can do. I've recently, I come out and talk about what I do online since I died a couple of times, and it's not my ability. It's borrowed from God. I'm just a vessel. I don't see myself as better or less than anyone else. I just happen to channel information for the people that need it. So I don't have an ego. In fact, I have a really low self-esteem. Even though I see and do what I do, I have a really low self-esteem. This can be addictions to sex, love, rock and roll. Person you may be interested in is either a musician or they are addicted to sex, drugs, rock and roll. They have addictions that they need to work on. And perhaps that's why you are not with them right now, because they haven't sorted that out. They haven't gone and see a counsellor, gone to a dry out unit, like drug and alcohol unit. I've done that for 2 weeks. Did that back when I was struggling because I didn't cope with dying a couple of times on meds, and I mixed it with alcohol. Not a good idea. I don't take meds anymore. I don't do alcohol like I used to. I half and half it with juice. I'm not trying to get drunk. I'm not trying to be wasted. I'm doing the opposite of that. But what I've got from this reading is that maybe it's someone I'm picking up on out there needs to go and look at themselves seriously and get on a program to get off whatever they're addicted to, because it's clouding their judgment and it's self-sabotage. That's what I got for you guys. This is 28 minutes in. I didn't mean to go this long. I'm going to pull some cards from my deck. That was the Work Your Light. Yeah, I didn't mean to go this long. I just feel strongly I need to tell someone. This is someone that needs to hear this, these words. Oh, okay, we got Imrama. Okay. Imrama. This is people that you've come from. Imrama is 98. This is the soul tribe you came from. If anyone's out there, where are you being called to journey to? This, the Celtic word Imrama means a journey of the soul, a voyage in which we don't know where we are going, but our soul knows the way. If you pull this card, you are either being called to a soul journey or you're already on that path. It could be a physical, ancient place or metaphoric. When we journey to places that our soul remembers, a shift takes place, both within us and to the planet as well. You're being called to journey to a place that is sacred to your soul. Perhaps it is a journey to the world's sacred sites. So if you want to go travelling, my son's going to go travel to Japan. I want him to go visit the Shuri Castle. Or called to cross the country, climb a mountain, lie on the desert floor, or drink from an ancient well. There are places to see and old friends to meet. I see spontaneous pilgrimages in your future. If a physical voyage isn't possible, journey through the portal of the heart. Follow the invisible soul trail and be willing to explore. Maybe read a book or watch a movie about a sacred time or place. Perhaps you are being called to study an ancient lineage or body of work. Whatever your circumstance, your soul is ready to journey. So again, a soul contract, you may need to go, like I said, a vision quest, where my son's driving up to the middle of the Blue Mountains to go on a vision quest, which will help him emotionally, physically, and mentally. Okay, we got Break the Chain. Next card. These are really good cards because they really get to the heart of the problem. And that's an action card. So your action card is Ancestral Patterns, Healing, Rewriting the Future. You're being called to heal your family line or free yourself from living the life of your ancestors. This could mean letting go of an old pattern of your maternal or paternal, so mother's side or father's side, healing trauma from the past that is no longer even yours, or observing old ways of being that no longer can serve you. We carry emotional trauma in our luminous field for up to 7 generations back. This is why family patterns can be the hardest to break. Often they are not even ours to begin with, but we do not know another way of being, so we continue playing out the drama. The thing to notice when ancestral healing comes up is that you cannot heal another person, but your own healing can cause another person to choose to heal. Energy is freed up. You're being guided now to look at your life and decide how you want it to be. What ways of being or patterns are you ready to free yourself from? What part of the future do you want to rewrite? Now is the time to shake them off and dream a new future into being. So it's being the black sheep of the family. That's what I get from that. Next part, that's action. We had action. We had ancestral lineage. Now this deck, and I've got Anna, the grandmother of Jesus. Because I talked about how this is not my ability. I'm borrowing it since I died a couple of times. Yeah. This is not my ability. It's been borrowed. 88. Okay, we've got Seeing the Light, Laying the Foundations, Divine Plan. Anna, grandmother of Jesus, was an ancient mystic who dedicated her life to laying the foundations for Christ conscious to be woven through all of life. Like I said, it's not my ability. She is not widely known, but without her Christ consciousness would not be rising as it is today. Anna represents the quiet dedication that is sometimes required to live a life of service. She represents the generations that came before that devoted their lives to dreaming a new world into being while knowing that they would not see the glorious end result. She represents the dutiful soldier, the unconditional mother, and the mystic who can see the thread that is woven through all of life. Anna teaches us that we all have a part to play in the divine plan. It doesn't have to be on the world stage to be significant. One person's part is not worthier than another. One person's part may be to mother their children. Another's may be to gather women in circle each month. No part is better or worse, more important or less significant. We each have within us a seed of light that we incarnated to share. Anna is gathering us all to remember and surrender to our part of the plan. That's a really nice message. Yeah, like I just said, I don't see myself as the reason I saw COVID. I was the vessel. Just happened to be unwell enough on meds to access what I needed to access. Priestess. Okay. That's a very strong card to pull. You may be, like me, a high priestess, psychic medium. It's not an easy gig to be with. It's a very lonely path. It's like the path of the monk. The priestess. I'm alone because I don't know who else I can share what I do with anyone else, because I haven't got a tribe that knows what I do and is accepting of that, because there's not many people like me on the planet. They're called highly sensitive people, and they're all over the planet, but they're not always on the same country, town, or place. So priestess is an inquiry card. So the inquiry card is 46. Not many people will openly tell you that they're a psychic medium because of fear of rebuttal, fear of judgment. So this is why we struggle, because no one's going to really want to come out and tell you that they're like you, right? For fear of recrimination. How are you going to be called to step up and lead? The priestess is a teacher dedicated to service. I've been told I'm a spiritual teacher. Freedom and leadership. You don't need to have it all together to lead. In fact, it helps if you don't. No one wants a perfect angel who hasn't made mistakes. Let your life be your message. Don't underestimate the power of sharing your story. It's by hearing someone else's journey that we feel less alone. We realise that we're actually all in this thing called life together. The difference between a follower and a leader is that a leader has the courage to go first. In stepping out, they shine a light on the path for others to venture forward to. Don't fret too much about trying to work out who is your tribe. Don't get stuck in age, income, hobbies or occupation. The best way to discover your tribe is to look in the mirror. If you feel called to lead, chances are it is because at some point in your life you longed for someone to lead you. Your tribe are longing for exactly the same thing as you were and are, and might only be one step behind you. Hell, they may even be right alongside you. You don't need anyone's permission, just the courage to stand up. Embrace your struggles, the peaks, the troughs. You don't need to know the way, just believe that there might be a different way, a different one. Your tribe is waiting for you. Step forward so they can find you. And then the last bit I've got is the last deck. Okay, pull it open. Answer the call. What is your soul asking you to do? So, answer the call is 36. What is your soul calling you to do? Your guidance is divinely guided. You're being called to answer the call of your soul. It might be scary, it might not make sense. But if you trust your soul's yearnings, you will live a life beyond what your mind could possibly imagine. Answering your soul's calling is not a one-time thing, rather a lifelong dance. Deep down, you really already know what you long for, what your soul yearns for. Whatever you are called to do, that is your calling. Don't overthink it. Don't wait for permission. Just say yes. Most people are waiting for a step-by-step plan before they take the first step, but intuition doesn't work like that. It takes faith, trust, and pixie dust, and courage to answer the calls of the soul. And that's why most people don't do it, but you are not most people. You are exactly the right place to answer your calling now. You don't need to know the whole plan. You don't even need to know where it is leading. You just need to take the next step. No one has ever had the complete perfect plan. There is no end destination. There is no right or wrong way to do it, and you do not need permission from anyone else. Sometimes the more resistance we have around answering a soul calling, the more important it is to our soul's growth. What is your soul calling you to do? Mine is to read cards and do this internet channel, do this YouTube channel, and to grow it, and to grow it to a point where I can help people across the planet, across the World Wide Web, across my spiritual tribe, which is the community that I'm currently working with you guys in the community, because I watch other people's YouTube channels and I gain insight, so I know if I'm on the right path. And everyone talks about the same things I do. I know I'm on the right path. We're a collective. I think we all feed each other's intuition by watching each other on the internet. I share and like pages that I agree or align with, because they've picked up something that I picked up on. And at one stage I thought they were copying me, and then I realised, no, they were picking up the energy I was picking up on, and we just have to share information. We're here to learn and share. So I'm going to put it up, like and share it to my Moonlight Madness page, my Facebook profile, public and friends, because I feel the need to let everyone know what I'm seeing and feeling, because I see things long before they happen. But hopefully we can all help each other as a collective. That's all I have for you today.